They mocked my husband at our wedding. Then the doors opened. Weddings are supposed to be about love. But sometimes, they show you exactly how people measure your worth. From the moment Ethan and I announced our engagement, the whispers began. Not about our relationship. Not about our happiness. About money. My family valued appearances. Prestigious careers. Luxury that could be seen and talked about. Ethan didn't fit their world. He wore simple suits. Drove an old car. Spoke only when necessary. And worst of all, he never explained himself. The wedding reception was flawless. Crystal glasses. White tablecloths. Soft music floating through the room. Guests smiled politely. And judged quietly. Then my cousin Vanessa stood up. No one had asked her to speak. She raised her glass and laughed lightly. "Let's congratulate Emma," she said, looking at me. "For marrying for love, instead of comfort." A few people laughed. Then she turned to Ethan. "Not everyone can afford ambition," she said, smiling. "But at least he looks honest." The laughter grew louder. My chest tightened. My face burned. I looked at Ethan. He didn't react. Didn't frown. Didn't look down. He sat perfectly still. Calm. That's when I realized something. Whatever he carried inside him was heavier than their words. Before I could stand, the doors at the back of the hall opened. The music stopped. 2 men in formal military uniform stepped inside. Then another. Then more. Their posture was unmistakable. Discipline. Precision. Silence. The entire room froze. They walked straight toward our table. The senior officer stopped in front of Ethan and stood even straighter. "Sir," he said clearly, "apologies for the interruption." You could hear people breathing. "We were instructed," the officer continued, "to formally acknowledge your presence this evening." Vanessa's smile disappeared. More uniformed men and women entered the hall. Veterans. People who carried quiet authority. The officer turned to the guests. "This man," he said, pointing to Ethan, "served in operations most of you will never hear about. He refused recognition. He refused promotions. He refused wealth. Because his duty did not allow it." Ethan finally spoke. "Not tonight," he said quietly. The officer nodded. "Understood, sir." They saluted. The sound echoed through the hall. No one laughed. Vanessa sat frozen, her glass still raised. The reception continued, but everything had changed. No questions. No jokes. People looked at Ethan differently now. Not with curiosity. With respect. When we danced, I whispered, "Why didn't you ever tell me?" He smiled softly. "Because the right people already knew," he said. "And because wealth isn't what I was trusted with." That night, I learned something I will never forget. Some people mistake silence for weakness. Simplicity for failure. Humility for worthlessness. But real proof doesn't shout. Sometimes, it walks in quietly. Through open doors.